Hello folks, this is Steve AB4L. It's almost 3:30 a.m. Saturday. Let's have some fun. Now, a few moments ago I was interested in finding out the progress of the tropical storm that's just about to enter North Carolina. Now, nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation, but I can't help but name specific things because, well, when I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, I lived near the North Carolina State University campus, and right next to the campus is WRAL. And Ophelia is coming our way. Friday, Saturday, 2:05 a.m., that's now. As I said, the eye is about to enter the southeastern corner of North Carolina. We've got rain and winds. But while I was here, I looked at the news. And as I was scrolling down and looking at the headlines, invasive zebra mussels found in North Carolina quarry. You can take steps to keep them from spreading. That's what drew my eye. But then right next to it, hotel, new homes, traffic shift, development bookends Raleigh's Oberlin Village. Now that's right next to the NC State campus, and I used to live on Oberlin Road. The Village District, which is where I used to shop for my food, is getting its first hotel, along with hundreds of new apartments next door. To the north, a new neighborhood known as Budley East is going up next to Oberlin Magnet Middle School, where Country Club Homes used to be. And that's where last place I lived in Raleigh before I came here. So you can understand why I'm interested. So forgetting the Village District where I used to shop, to the north, a new neighborhood known as Budley East is going up to the Oberlin Magnet Middle School where Country Club Homes used to be. They mentioned the K&W cafeteria. The 7-story Oberlin Hotel will bring 150 rooms and a rooftop, blah, blah, blah. At the corner of Fairview Road, that's Oberlin Road and Fairview Road, the new Budley East neighborhood will include dozens of new homes, condos, and a 214-unit independent senior living community. Now let's see where that is. Oberlin Road, Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, the place where they're talking about putting up the hotel is here where the Harris Teeter is. The post office used to be here. I don't know if it's still a post office in this part of the building. It looks like it's not used for that anymore. Neighborhood's changed. But this is where I used to shop for my food. And when I said it was near the NC State campus, this is the NC State campus. And WRAL is kind of over here on Western Avenue. So let's get back to my old neighborhood. We're going to go down Oberlin Road. We're going to cross Wade Avenue. There's Wade Avenue. I used to come up Oberlin Road and turn onto Wade Avenue and go out to RTP to work. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this neighborhood. Right about here. Now, have you heard of Red Hat Linux? They started out as a small Linux startup for enterprises, making the version of Linux not for home use, not for school use, but for not just businesses, but big companies. And in the last couple of years, they've I'm going to use the word merged with IBM. So they started with just a couple of people a couple of decades ago, and they are, in a certain sense, synonymous with IBM. Think about that growth. Oh, and why am I mentioning that? Because right about here, see, I used to drive down Oberlin Road every day, right? Because I used to drive to Wade Avenue to go out to RTP. I think it's this house here, after they really got going, was one of the executives, like president of Red Hat. That's where he lived. So I used to go by every day. This is a very fine church here. When we had a winter storm that put out our electricity for a couple of weeks, they came over looking for some of the older people living where I'm going to show you and took them into their homes, because it wasn't that there wasn't gas feed for the gas boilers in the buildings. There was no electricity to run the hot water pumps to actually heat the apartments. So they went below freezing. In my case, I was sleeping on the floor in my cubicle out at work in RTP. Now, they mentioned the magnet school. That's this right here. That's the magnet school. Now, this is a satellite view. Does it fit in that the view says there's land clearing and maybe construction going on? What did the article say? The new Budley neighborhood will include dozens of new homes, condos, and a 214-unit independent senior living community. Well, that's actually what used to be there. In 1931 and 32, when did the Depression start? Stock market crash in 1929. the economy really tanked. Herbert Hoover did the best he could, but there was a big wave, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected, and they began a lot of programs. Now, why do I pick on that? At that time, all of this was farmland. How do I know? Because a neighbor of mine, I lived in here, we'll get to that. A neighbor of mine used to drive from north of Raleigh to go to classes at NC State, which was called State College at the time. It was a land grant, and one of the earliest land grant colleges and universities. That's just after the Civil War. Instead of there just being private colleges, how about pushing for the ordinary person? That's what most of your state university campuses are today, land grant universities. Well, Bill told me that he used to drive in from north of Raleigh, come in, and he would go to an orphanage over here and deliver fresh eggs and get paid for them. And that paid for the gasoline for driving back and forth to college 5 days a week. Because he lived on a farm. But at that time, he told me, so he got back on the road here, Fairview, and he said that was a dirt road. 1931, Fairview was a dirt road, and Oberlin was a gravel road. And he used to, after visiting the orphanage, he used to come back this way, turn the corner, and get down Oberlin Road to go to State College campus. See, that's why I showed you where it was. Bill used to live in a unit about there. And I used to live kind of close to it. Oh, this is a picture from one street over. No, that's a good picture of, let's see if it'll expand. See the picture there? Yeah, we got it. This is what it looked like. Now, the very first buildings in that whole big piece, converting farm pasture into condo apartments, was 1938. But what happened in less than 2 years that changed the direction of everything in the United States? Pearl Harbor, where we then formally got into the Second World War against the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan. So the construction that was going to continue in this land that I was showing you stopped and didn't resume until after the Second World War and repatriation of American forces and the economy getting going and switching from building tanks and airplanes to start building cars again in the Ford plants, the Chrysler plants, things like that. And that's when the rest of it was built, from about 1947-48 into the early 1950s. And that's the age of these buildings. Now this is a section in there, okay? giving you the style of the buildings. That means that they drove in there, Street View did, at around the time I lived there. This is 2014. This is about a year after I left there. So that's what it looked like. Isn't Street View great? This is what's been all torn down. I know where this is. These were the newer buildings of the whole thing. And in fact, just beyond this is where the middle school, Magnet is. Magnet Middle School is. So now you have a view. Thank you, Google Street View. Now you have a view of what it looked like. And now we're out onto Oberlin Road. And now you see it switched to April 2022 from 2013, 14 to now, not now, but maybe still now. I wonder what the holdup has been. Maybe it was zoning. I said that just beyond where I gave you that view was the magnet school. Let me prove it to you. There's the magnet school right there, to the right. And we can tell this is springtime because of what's blossoming on the trees here. Okay? And that's correct. It says it's April 2022. But I could tell what the season was by those trees. Whoop. So this gives you a feeling for what's across the street from there. Now let's go up the street. Keep a look on the right. Some of these are older buildings. Some of these are newer buildings. Some of these are business buildings. This is new. I'm forgetting what is in here, but you can see there's a lot of parking. I forget what it is. Kind of a business. There's a FedEx box there. And at the top of the hill is the fire station, which has actually been recently renovated. The dry cleaners have been there forever. And then there's a restaurant or two over this way. Now it's switched, and this is March 2022, a month earlier. So we can see that a year and a half ago, they already had partitioned this off, and they've cleared out. It must have been a big job to knock all those buildings down, truck it away, start leveling the land, dig down into the old sewage systems, water pipes and everything that had been there from when? After the Second World War. How long ago was that? A long time. Now, I'm going to take you to a special spot. You see the way these three lines work? They're just like the three lines out here. And if I turn it around, this is new stuff that wasn't there when I left. This stuff here is recent refurbishment. Now, I'm going to take you to a particular spot, right here where there's a gate. right there. Now you can see it's a residential neighborhood. After you get after here, now going down Fairview Road, it's a residential neighborhood. Now, one of the things I like about Street View, if it's a place where they went frequently, because around this part of North Carolina, they've almost gotten rid of all the old Street View, maybe because it's never called on. This is a year and a half ago. We're looking and we can see sort of there, you can see the red dirt. Down here it says, see more dates. They're showing us March 2022. If you don't know how to use Street View this way, maybe you're learning something. I think it's wonderful. I'm not promoting anything. Look at what I'm able to do. Watch. What did it look like about a year before that, 2 years ago? Oh, now we know approximately when the demolition occurred, during what period of time. Between June of 2021 and March of 2022, somewhere in there, they did the big demolition. Will they let us drive in? No. But they let us do the street view, and this was the administration building. It's where you paid your rent. See, the fire station's over there. The dry cleaner is right there. And over time, there were various restaurants in here. So now it switched us back to the current view. Let's look at March 2019. See, June already had all the trees in flower. So it doesn't look like much changed, right? You see this wooden thing here? How about July 2018? I like this because it's from the same point of view. Those two chairs are still there. So that means the resident who was living there didn't change. Wouldn't you like to live in a place like that? Look at the trees, they're beautiful. Just pull in there and find your parking spot and go to... Okay, so this is July 2018, 2017. You like that tree? You like that tree? February 2016. See, that's not changing much. April 2015. Oh, wait a minute, something changed. See this wooden thing here? 16. So they did it to hide the dumpster? Because that dumpster was there for a long time. Aren't the bushes in flower here beautiful? (2014), and then there's a big jump. 2011. Is that my car right there? Yes, it is. See, if I try to go in, it doesn't go in on the 2011. Is that my car right there? Yes, that's my car. Yes, that's my car. Because I live down there. That's my car. The one I had before the one I have now. That's my car. It's like looking into the past. And the earliest one we can see is 2007. And if you look carefully, oh, I can't make it bigger. I can't make that picture bigger. You can see my car is still there. That's the one I had. You see, it jumps us into the future. This is 2011, so we weren't able to do a street view. But let's just do this. Let's just do this. Now, this is the last thing. It's like looking into the past. I really love this. Let's look at the fire station and the way it looks. Used to hear them go out all the time. You know, I have the thing about things that happened here, how the Franklinville fire people come, like there's an accident here at this corner, they come out. I hear them going down for accidents down that way, for fires, things like that. Where I lived, I couldn't see them because of the tree cover and stuff like that, but I could hear them going out. They didn't get called as often as Franklinville. I think Franklinville actually has more coverage. So that's Fire Station 6 in Raleigh. Now look at the building. And it is Fairview, right? Now let's look at it really the way it looks today. I said it had been renovated and expanded. Let's look back. Whoop, we can't do that. That didn't work right. Oh well. Now, one more thing. This is Google Maps. The Google Maps is showing you where all the buildings were. See, there's the Oberlin Magnet Middle School. The thing that I took you on the ride went in and around this. The Magnet School is there. This whole thing was one complex. But this is what the satellite says is there now. But you see how they put where the roads used to be superimposed over it? Remember I mentioned the FedEx drop box? Just to give you, or see what we're talking about. The only question I have in my mind, did it take a lot of, are they going to call it the Liberty Hayes Barton and Senior Living? Is that giving us a hint? Is that giving us a hint? Because they said there was going to be a certain kind of thing for independent senior. When I lived there, a substantial portion, maybe as many as a quarter overall, of the residents were above 65 years old. Remember what I said about when we lost the electricity in the winter freeze and the trees fell from the ice on them and we didn't have electricity for like a 2 week, literally 2 weeks. The church came and got the older people. I'm curious. Let's just to close this out, let's just HayesBartonPlace.com, purchased and operated by Liberty since 2018. Wait a minute, I'm learning. First time I'm seeing it. Because Hayes Barton refers to something else. Liberty Senior Living is a part of Liberty Healthcare, a family-owned company that's been working with North Carolinians to manage their healthcare and residents' needs for over 145 years. One of the things I really love about North Carolina, besides its visual beauty, is the depth of its history and modernity. The company's founders opened, it is a pharmacy. I used to get prescriptions filled there. The company's founders opened the first pharmacy in 1875 and established an integrity which continued to guide Liberty Senior Living to this day. Over 5 generations of Liberty have been proud to call North Carolina home. Quality people who live in this special part of the world, Hayes Barton Place, will include 88 private health care accommodations. Maybe I'll be moving back there. President Biden could move there. For assisted living, memory support, and skilled nursing with state-of-the-art on-site rehabilitation. Now they're showing us something. The cars tell us the 1920s. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I think that's beautiful. Hayes Barton Place Neighborhood Design Center, 210 Fairview. But why don't we I just want to see if it was like Street View. This gives you an aerial view of the area of that part of Raleigh. I'm not promoting anything. Is this real or is this a drawing? It looks like a drawing. This might be what they're building down in that next to the magnet school. It says Design Center, and then it talks about where these other places are, and it's clear that they, like the Pisgah Valley Retirement Center, that's in further west in North Carolina, the Pisgah Valley. I've been fishing there. It's beautiful. Inspire Sandhill, that would be down near the eastern part, down Route 1. North Carolina has mountains, it has forest, it has coast, and it has sandhills that look like the desert. But hang on. Why aren't they taking us? I want to get that article again. I don't want that one. I want, hang on. They opened, so what I want to do is, I'm trying to find words Hayes Barton. I want to do this. The Hayes Barton Historic District of located northwest of downtown Raleigh. It's an upper-class neighborhood designed by the landscape movement of the. It's got a Wikipedia article. That shouldn't surprise us. The Hayes-Martin neighborhood is roughly bounded by St. Mary Street. That's where he went down to the orphanage, St. Mary Street. Fairview Road, West Roanoke Park Drive, formerly named Aycock. Why did they change the name back from Aycock? Go look it up. Just say Aycock, North Carolina. Scale Street, and it's in the National Register of, but hang on. Why do I think Hayes-Martin Farmery 2000, I know where it is. Hayes-Martin Pharmacy. Remember I said a little bit earlier? See, there's a picture of the building. And I've had prescriptions filled there. And it's down at 5 points. Oh, don't do that. Excuse me, folks. I'm having fun. Here's Oberlin Road. Here's Fairview Road. Here's 5 points. We've got a 5 points here in the Ashboro area. Dry cleaners, pottery. This is 5 points. Here's the First National Bank. That's a new building. And there's the Hayes-Martin Pharmacy right there in that building. This one over here is a main thoroughfare. This is not Fairview, but there it is. Actually, this kind of filled in some stuff about the historical background of that whole area that I wasn't aware of. I said my neighbor, he had driven down, further down here to the orphanage, then he came back and he turned onto this road to get back. Now you'd think, well, why didn't he just go straight over the state? Why did he come all the way back up and then over? The answer is you have to remember the roads were 1931, and a lot of these streets didn't exist. This is farm country back in those days. The orphanage was on the outskirts of town. NC State campus was way out of Raleigh. Way out of Raleigh. Yeah, that's right. So I've had fun. And I learned some new things. And I'm not promoting anything, but I'm going to say thank you to Google Street View. I saw a news item here, and now I followed it. I let my mind wander a little bit. I'm brainstorming it. I'm reminiscing a little bit. And actually, the only question I have left in my mind is, I'm not sure what the date of that satellite view is, but it's like if it, I hope it's way out of date because it kind of suggests that for some reason after the clearing, the start of construction is kind of slow. But we don't have a street view newer than a year and a quarter ago. So we don't know what it actually looks like right now because we don't know the actual date of the satellite view. Ta-da! Steve AB for y'all. Just having fun. Saying see you in 73.